Always two there are, no more, no less. I just finished The God Is Not Willing, guys, and an epic melancholy is the phrase I can use to describe it. While Toll the Hounds was seriously sad, let's just be honest, The Forge of Darkness and The Fall of Light have been a bit more melancholic, but The God Is Not Willing, it topped the charts in Erickson's war chest of emotion manipulating tales. I'm not gonna jump into it because this is not a book review channel, but we will talk about the specific events and their impacts on the story at large in another video. But the new Malazan army structure under Emperor Malik Rel got me thinking of the most illustrious partnerships that have graced the Malazan canon. So stick with me, weary travelers of the Malaverse, as we get into it. Ipshank and Manask. While there may exist only tales of this odd pair of former destriant of Fena and Manask, who was definitely something more, but let's just call him a thief. With the assistance of Kyle and a few other Malazan heavies, they managed to overwhelm a contingent of Corelry Stormguard who were protecting a fragment of the crippled god's body. Most of their infamy belonged to the storied legends of the Malazan army. Greyman and Kyle. These two became acquainted with each other while in the Crimson Guard in the damned continent of Asail. Despite initially Kyle thinking that Greyman had killed his god during that whole mess when the guard was extricating itself from Asail, they sorted that out, and after the Malazan power struggle, they were recruited into Emperor Rel's Corel Invasion Force, or Reinvasion Force, where they seemed to work together well as High Fist and Adjunct, despite Greyman seeming to have lost his touch with leadership a bit. Anomanda Rake and Caladan Brood. This ascendant pair have been through 300 millennia or more of friendship. How this pair was bonded through Andarist's betrothal, and after that whole bungle nut of a scenario with his betrothed and Rake, Atiste Andy Ascendant Prince, vanishing with Brood, and Azathanai High Mason was just... I was really moved by this, you guys. Epic does not even begin to describe it. I've not yet gotten to reading The Fall of Light yet, so don't spoil it for me in case there are tidbits. This pair also led forces that skirmished with the Malazan Empire across various parts of the Genabakan continent until they finally allied with the Malazans for one last massive party with the Panion Domin. Rake and Kilmandarus. This was certainly one partnership born out of necessity. At the sundering of Emulan, the realm of Shadow, many players joined the carnival to compete for the throne of Shadow, and these two teamed up and went into Shadow to face off against aliens, demons, possibly other sinister creatures that Shadow was now prison to. Though I suppose when facing off against Atiste Andy Soul-taken Master Archmage, wielding a weapon of cold justice, or the fists of Kilmandarus, who was she again? Oh yes, the elder goddess of the Fulcral Assail, the embodiment of destruction and desecration. When facing off against these two, you will definitely beg Edgewalker to imprison you in Elder Shadow for all time. Hedge and Fiddler. Mayhem, Pandemonium, Bedlam. Pick one, pick any, and it will not be enough to explain this Falari pair from the 2nd Army's 9th Squad of the Malazan Empire. They were as close as brothers in such a way that even death couldn't keep them apart. A conjoined mindset more dangerous than amusing most of the time, as legendary as the bridge banners themselves. They were among the original bridge banners and hence automatically considered as Kellanved's elite and favored soldiers. And they were the first Malazan Marines to come up with effective methods on how to use the Moranth munitions. One can only imagine that being Kellanved's favored, it meant being thrown in every nightmare from their first bloodletting in Danisban, through Malazan battles in Genabakis, all the way to the final battle in Kolans, where Dead Hedge and Fid were involved in the defense of the crippled god's body. Quickben Delat and Kalam Mekar. These 7 cities natives already had a strong partnership ongoing even before the Malazan conquests of 7 cities. As part of the original bridge banners forged in the holy desert of Raraku, it was Quick and Kal who led the motley assemblance of 70 reject soldiers who could be spared by Dasim and led by Whiskey Jack. This partnership of a legendary master assassin, who some says was a match to Cotillion, and an ascendant mage who possessed within him 12 powerful souls and the definite smell of a soul-taken or diverse shapeshifter. Their legendary exploits cannot be ignored. From the bridge banner bloodletting in Gnandisban to the Jenabakan conquests, the siege at Pale, the Darujistan where they faced off against Moonspawn's storied assassin mages and unleashed Taishrain's demon lord just to get away. During the Seven Cities Rebellion, they managed to subdue Kobolodom. The pair also helped the Paran siblings in the battle against the Fokral Assail in Kolans and were ultimately instrumental in literal saving of the world. Kelanved and Dancer. In every generation, there is born an individual with such devastating willpower that they change the very course of history itself. It so happened that at that point, the two most favored candidates to change the history of the world paired up. This pair met on the outskirts of Liheng and went ahead to face off against and actually managed to tame Hounds of Shadow. They also recruited the foremost swordsman of the age who would join the nascent organization that would later be known as the Malazan Empire. At the head of this organization, they managed to subdue Malaz Isle, Nap Isles, and the city of Korn, and finally faced off against the protectress of Heng and her 5 favored high mages. Just to know how lethal this pair was, they managed to make a deal with the House of Azath to admit them, and through this, they took over the realm of Shadow as its ruler. This is a pair that has even been at the center of every convergence in the entire series. A pair whose gambit changed the very face of the Malaverse as it was known, and the pair had hardly been stretched thin, and that's why they are my favorite partnership. Let me know in the comments below who your favorite partnership was in the series. Smash a like on the video, subscribe for more Malazan content like this. I am Azalan, and I'll catch you on the next one.